Hi and welcome to this video log with me, Wayne, from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. Elbows, elbows, elbows. Controlling the elbow is one of the most important skills in swimming, and one I see so many people get wrong. In fact, not controlling the elbow correctly is the most common mistake I see in the pull phase of front crawl. You see, elbows are the key to setting up a good pull. And there are two distinct problems that cause specific inefficiencies. Here are two great examples of both of those.
When a swimmer primarily concentrates on bringing their elbow backwards and not their forearm backwards, we can see what happens. At some point in the pull, the elbow takes over and we get an odd movement of the arm. Now that's not too bad, but with the other arm you can see there's a point at which the elbow kicks in. And it's the elbow that's dominating the procedure. So we get a movement that's down, up, down and across, and then backwards. And it's exactly the same with the other arm. And we really do want to eliminate this waste of movement if we can possibly help it, and direct all of our force, if we can, backwards so that we can move forwards as fast as possible. The picture is even more dramatic when you look at it from the front. You can see the arm comes right the way across. You can see that sweep up, sweep down and sweep across. And the sweep across must be moving him sideways. It happens also with the other arm. So you can tell the elbow is the most important thing in this swimmer's armoury of pull. And you can see how that's up, down, sideways. And that sideways movement is doing nothing to actually move the swimmer forward. And that's what we want to change. Now here we have another swimmer, and instead of pulling the elbow back, he's diving in and pulling the elbow very stiff, and we can see it's a completely straight pull. Again with the other arm, it's a straight pull down and a straight pull back. Now that puts a hell of a lot of pressure on the shoulder, and there comes a point at which he can't pull back anymore, and so he's coming out of the stroke very early, right by the thigh, or by the hip, sorry. The other arm again, going in, pushing down in a straight line, and then keeping that elbow locked and coming out early. Left arm pushing down, keeping dead straight, and eventually trying to come out the water. So it's too deep there to actually keep pushing back, puts a lot of strain on the shoulder, and then releases and pushes back. So it's releasing effort. Now if he did continue pushing back from there, effectively all he would be doing would be pushing upwards from that point. So releasing it is actually making him slightly more efficient than he would be otherwise. And once again from the front this becomes even more apparent. You can see the arm coming in and pushing straight down, keeping an absolute straight arm and pushing back and coming out. With the other arm exactly the same thing, pushing down, back, keeping a straight arm. So that's an inefficient stroke with a locked elbow. So again, once again, the elbow is actually doing the damage. We're locking the elbow, and if you lock the elbow in swimming and don't swim relaxed, it's very difficult to actually keep a very good hold on the water.
So you see the problem, and they are completely different. In the first case, the swimmer is leading the pull with the elbow, and if you do that, the most likely path is to drop the elbow, and when you do this, there's two likely paths for the forearm. Either, as in the video, the forearm follows the elbow and comes across the body, or the forearm lags behind the elbow and you simply slip the water. In the second, the swimmer keeps the elbow stiff, so that all the muscles in the upper and lower arm hold the elbow in place and the wrist, and we get a straight arm pull. The problem with a straight arm pull is that at the front end you're pushing down, which pushes you upwards. In the middle of the stroke you're pushing backwards, which generates power, and at the back end of the stroke you're pushing upwards, which pushes you down. That's a lot of wasted effort. We want to move forwards in the water, so all our power has to be directed backwards. Let's take a look at a couple of swimmers achieving a better and more forceful pull through with the water.
Now here we have a swimmer where the focus is on the forearm and not the elbow. You can see he's trying to hold the water and create a force with that forearm right the way through the stroke. And it's even easier with the left arm. You can see he's going into a catch position the hand slightly forward, but we now hold the water with the whole of our forearm, and that forearm can push back all the way through the stroke. Again, with the other arm, that's exactly the same happens. And so we're trying to hold the water, and the swimmer looks a lot smoother and a lot more powerful, and actually is, and in terms of time is probably about 10 seconds quicker per 100 than the two previous swimmers you've just seen. Okay, so let's have a look at this accomplished swimmer just coming off the wall, and we'll have a look at her first stroke with her right arm. She's going to stroke with her left arm first, and you can see there that it's very vertical as it pushes back. So it's actually pushing back against the water, and with her right arm, suddenly she slowly puts it into the catch position. And you can see from that catch position, she's developing a really good hold on the water. And that's what we want. The high elbow that you can see there develops a catch in the water when your hand is lowered non-propulsively. So let's just look at that go on. That was a bit fast, so I'll take it slightly slower than that. So we're in the catch position, and you can see the forearm drives back. The elbow never goes below the hand. The hand always remains low so that the forearm can be the main driving force of the whole stroke, right the way to the back where she exits with her hand pointing backwards. Okay, so now let's have a look at her coming towards us in slow motion. And you can see each arm is actually grabbing the water really well. And if we stop that there, now again, we do have this drooped elbow, which we're not very happy with, and that's certainly something she can improve on. But from that position, if you look at what happens with her elbow, it remains high, and she gets into this fantastic catch position where she's holding the water, not only with her forearm, but also with her hand. Now that's developed a wonderfully large paddle that she can use to drive back. And you'll notice the hand shift as she gets just under her body, roughly under her belly button, where the hand now needs to push back on its own because the forearm is not doing so much work. With the left arm, she's breathing there, but again, keeping the elbow high, grabbing the water so that we have a really nice paddle to use with both forearm and hand, and then she drives it back. Now, if you look at the hand's now going to push back against the water, and she's going to exit the stroke. So the elbow really is a flexible part of the stroke as opposed to a stiff part of the stroke, and that makes this particular swimmer exceptionally good at front crawl. Now, the last thing I want to do with this swimmer is see where the recovery arm is when the catch is achieved. Now, you can see the catch is achieved with the left arm there, and the swimmer's just breathed, and the arm is effectively level with the shoulder as the arm comes in. But when she doesn't breathe, and we have maximum rotation effectively here, which shows her about that angle in the water, is approximately 45 degrees. We then start moving into the catch and the other arm recovers. But as we get into the catch, you can see here that hand is starting to come in. But we've also flattened our shoulders in the water. And that's the reason that this swimmer can actually get into such a good catch position, because that arm's coming through and we have leveled the shoulders. A lot of people find it very difficult to remain on the side and get into that catch position. It's an unnatural thing for the elbow to do. So we need to realize that we need a virtual catch or near catch-up situation to be able to swim with this fantastic paddle catch that we have with this particular swimmer.
So with the first swimmer, you saw a natural relaxation at the front end of the stroke. Effectively, he has soft hands. And I can't emphasize this enough, how important it is to be relaxed, and soft hands are a perfect example of that. The second swimmer was probably an even better example of creating that paddle you need to drive your force backwards so you move forwards. Both illustrate that as you move to the catch, you need no tension through the elbow and the wrist. And the problem for most people is they make that movement propulsive, and that propulsion is caused by creating tension throughout the arm and the wrist. Now you can simulate this by putting your hand on a flat surface. Now if you have your arm straight and your elbow above or at the level of your wrist, that would be fantastic. And make sure your hand is just floppy and nice. And simply move back and keep your elbow in the same place. So as your hand comes off the surface, your hand drops, your elbow rotates, and you get that beautiful catch position. You can do it time and again, getting into that catch position from the surface and leaving your elbow in place. And as you get used to this feeling, that's exactly what you should feel in the water as you head towards the catch. As your hand drops off, you notice there's absolutely no tension in that hand. You've got soft hands. Now when you're doing this, it's very tempting to rotate that shoulder, and if you do, you'll see your hand probably will turn to the side and you'll feel that shoulder rotate. We don't want that. What we want to do is just drop the hand, rotating the elbow without rotating the shoulder. And you can see there, that's a really floppy hand and a nice catch position. If I could turn to the side, that catch position is almost perfect. Now when you're swimming, that is the position where you actually add tension. You add tension because you're holding the water and you're ready for the full stroke. Remember though that the stroke starts slowly and accelerates from about the mid-chest level through to the back. So it starts very slowly and then accelerates once you get to about mid-chest level. Then you release and you recover with exactly the same relaxed arm as you did when you came into the catch position. As you get used to making the move to the catch feel relaxed and easy, it becomes natural. You begin to understand where the position is and you can start playing with it to see exactly where is best for you to make the catch. It might be that you develop an early vertical forearm, or it might be that you come in completely round. You may come through, readily put your arm into the catch position, but whatever happens, it will be relaxed. Remember, we're all different. A specific stroke that suits you might not suit anyone else. Okay, that's it for this video. Probably the most important move in swimming is the move to the catch. And if you make it propulsive in any stroke, you're actually wasting energy and being less efficient than you really could be. Okay, that's it for this video. Keep well, enjoy your swimming, enjoy your training, and enjoy your racing. See you soon.